Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about the hidden ones. So shout out to the devs of this game. I was able to get into this early access and be part of the creator program. So this video is actually going to be going live the day that it actually releases for the pre-alpha, but I was able to play quite a bit of this game before then and get this video prepared for you guys. So I wanted to go into it. What's my first impressions on this one? I do plan on playing a little bit more during the pre-alpha, as there are some things like, you know, multiplayer and stuff like that that are a little limited because you're only playing with the people that were like pre-access and had the early access as well. So I'd like to kind of see some different mechanics, but let's go ahead and talk about the first one. It's an arena fighter, so it's super fun. It has a unique take on it. There's a lot of cool things that you're able to do defensively, offensively. There's a couple different characters you can play as. They're all unique so far, and I've just had a blast playing it, dude. I like the style of it. It's like kind of this, you know, I want to say like arena fighter, but it's more like grounded, right? Because it's just kind of one of those things where you're kind of like always looking at each other. You can't really run away. So you are in a spot where you have to kind of like parry or block. And there's a lot of different defensive things. If like you're blocking a basic, then you get grabbed. You have to, you know, parry an ultimate or a skill or something like that. So you have to kind of take into account like a rock, paper, scissors almost what you're going to be doing and when fighting somebody. And it's really cool for the combinations and stuff. So it is a 1v1. Technically it's a 3v3, but you only play as one character each round. So every time that you deplete someone's HP, they come back in as another character, and then you kind of go from there. If you are like surviving as your character, you do get a little bit of health bump. So you don't have to like fight somebody as like, you know, a fourth of your health the entire time. You get a little bit of health bump, but it's not a lot. So it's kind of cool though, whenever you do like a 1v3 sweep, essentially, it feels pretty damn good. Now, for the most part, I only played bots because like I said, there's only other creators in this pre-alpha, like kind of early access thing. So I'm excited to get in there and kind of see what's going on. Now that it's live to more beta testers, we can actually see what's, you know, happening and how people are kind of developing stuff. But I've seen a lot of stuff on Twitter, and the combinations in this game seem insane. Real quick, I want to talk about the story though. So the story itself is actually pretty entertaining. It is based on an anime IP that is pretty popular. I've personally not seen it, but I wanted to kind of look at some of the different story elements and not spoil myself too much. So I did watch a little bit of it, about like 30-ish minutes. I try not to watch too much if I plan on playing the game because it kind of spoils it for me and it makes me not want to go through it again. There's a lot of cool things to it, right? So outside of the actual story, which is really done well, the voice acting is really done well, and just like kind of the gameplay mechanics. So when you have like these different like chase scenes, you kind of engage in a different way with the story versus just like fighting. There are obviously scenarios where you're like sitting there fighting, maybe watching some of the cutscenes, but it's like you have a chase scene. Like it's kind of cool to see that you're like dodging these obstacles, like trying to dodge these people that are attacking you and kind of going through it. You have like quick time events and stuff like that. It's kind of a cool little level of, you know, mechanics and layering to this story. You're getting a little bit of the story while having a little bit of fun, and I like it, and I think it's really engaging for storytelling stuff. But like I said, I haven't played too much of it. I do kind of want to jump back in and play a little bit just to see what other, you know, little mini games or whatever you want to call it are introduced in the story, because that was the only one that I saw thus far, but I only played about 20-30 minutes of it. So we'll have to kind of see if they continue to do something like that, or if it's kind of like that, just that specific scenario. So I want to kind of see what's going on with that. For those of you who are wondering, it is going to be free to play, which is super insane. It's going to be mobile and PC. I'm playing on the PC client, and it is ran really good, man. I have had a little bit of ping issues here and there, but again, that might just be the fact that some creators are from a little bit different places in the world. So obviously when you're trying to connect, you know, you don't have a wide scope, so you're just kind of connecting with whoever they can connect you with. But whenever I did like the bot matches, obviously it just went based on my ping, and that was super fresh, super good. And it felt really nice, man. Like there was a lot of like, you know, crispness to it almost, right? So like whenever you put an input in, it went through it. I also had like controller support for my PlayStation 5 controller. I haven't tried an Xbox controller. I've seen a couple of people having a little bit of issues with that, but they have confirmed that they will have PlayStation 5 controller support as well as the other controller support. I just personally haven't played on anything but the PlayStation 5, which is what I personally like to play on when it comes to these type of games, because it just feels a little bit better pressing, you know, the bumpers and stuff. I would like to kind of play it on the keyboard just to kind of see what it would feel like, but there's a lot of moves that you have to be pretty particular about timing and stuff, and it just feels a little bit better to do like, you know, an LB or an RB, or, you know, when you're doing stuff like that and real mechanical stuff that's like, you know, you want to do it right away. You don't want to have to try to find like where F is or G or, you know, misstep there. So I like to play it on this, but so far it's worked. I've had no issues with, you know, button pressing or any kind of like responsivity or something like that. I've had like zero issues with my controller thus far, and it's been pretty fun, man. The other game mode I was able to play during this pre-alpha is something called like a trial. So essentially it's like a boss trial. You kind of go through it and you fight the stages of difficulty for this certain boss. I think there's like 2 or 3 of them in there, but as you kind of progress, you get more rewards and stuff, but the tasks get harder to do. So you have to like, you know, do it so much times. Like you can't pick up any healing items on the battlefield. Sometimes in these story missions, they have like healing items on the ground you can do. you have to beat it so fast. You could like, you have to do certain moves and stuff like that. So it's kind of interesting to see that they're actually having some other gameplay mechanics and stuff like that outside of just like duel and the story. So you do have like a boss rush that will give you rewards, which is really cool to see how that's going to progress. Now, I haven't done too much of it because I was kind of like just wanting to duel, but it's one of those games, man. Well, I've just been dueling. I've just been having a lot of fun. I almost can't put it down. I can't remember the last time I did something like this besides like Brawl Hollow, where I was just like, I just want to play it, dude. It's just so much fun to jump in there and learn some different mechanics. I do think the trials is kind of fun for like learning new characters, like somebody maybe just unlocked. It's kind of interesting to go in there and kind of take a minute to kind of check it out. You can actually do tutorials. There's a lot of tutorials that break down a couple of different things. I don't know how much complexity goes into the actual tutorials because like I haven't really played much of them outside of the one mission that it wanted me to do or whatever. So I haven't really looked too much into it, but I'm sure they get into a little bit more complex combo kits, as well as just thinking about like what you should be doing and all that different stuff. But I thought it was kind of cool to introduce like some different things with the gameplay mechanics. And the fact that it's labeled as a pre-alpha makes me think like, damn, dude, it's pretty damn polished. In the pre-alpha test so far, the characters have been unlockable through currency that you can grind. You can do daily missions. You can do like one-time missions, basically. A lot of the stuff that you would see from a gacha game where you do like your dailies, you do your monthlies, your weeklies or whatever, your one-time stuff, you can do that and get the premium currency and another currency, and you can actually unlock characters. Now, I don't necessarily know if this is exclusive to the pre-alpha. Maybe they just wanted to give us access to some of these characters a little bit easier, but I have not seen anything or even heard anything about gacha besides the fact that the game is going to be free to play. So the only thing that I can kind of think of is maybe they're going to do skins. Maybe there's going to be some different stuff that you can do with the premium currency. Maybe there's certain characters that you maybe need to buy or something like that. I'm not 100% sure on what the actual structure of what it's going to look like for trying to monetize this game. But thus far, it's been stuff you can actually grind out and do some things to, like, you know, story stuff, play X amount of matches so many times or whatever. And you can kind of get the currency, and then you can select from the different characters, and then you kind of build your characters up that way. So they actually have a lot of cool characters at the very beginning, though. I've only used like the first 3, and they're so much fun. I haven't even really thought about buying anybody else because of the kits for these characters are so much fun to play that I'm like, okay, I don't really need to buy anybody else right now, but I would like to do so, obviously, to test it out and see what's going on with the alpha and what the different characters look like, because I've seen some damn good combos and some of those characters look a lot of fun. They actually have a couple of unique designs, though. There's a lot of characters that look kind of funky. It has this kind of like, I don't even know what you'd want to really call it, but it's kind of creepy. Some of the characters are a little creepy, bro. So I kind of get worried about playing them, but just because, like, I don't know, they creep me out a little bit. There's like a porcelain doll lady. She kind of looks a little bit spooky, but her actual gameplay is a lot of fun. She has like kunais on the ends of her ropes and like strings and shit, and she's like pretty fast, dude. I've played against her. It's like, I don't know if it was a real person or a bot, but they're fast, dude. They're super aggressive. So there's some characters that are obviously like really aggressive. Some are going to be more like ranged defensive type of stuff. So you actually get a feel for what it's like to play, you know, different ranges of stuff. And I think this is doing really good for an arena fighter, dude. I played a lot of arena fighters growing up, and I think this is doing something really fresh, really unique. And I think it's just really nice to revive the genre in a way that's like free to play. You have some cool mechanics to it. You have defensive, offensive. You have some things to think about when you're actually playing. And I just think it's a lot of fun because it's more grounded. You can't like just run away for the entire match. You actually have to get in there and do some different stuff. You can't be overly defensive, but there's different ways to counter that. So I think it's a lot of fun. And I think this is definitely a game that you should be checking out on your radar and making sure, if you like this type of genre, man, that you're peeping this stuff out, because it's a lot of fun to play. So I hopefully I'm going to be playing more and kind of giving you guys a little bit of a take. If this video does well, obviously we'll do more. So subscribe to the channel if you want to see more, and I'll see you the next one. Have a good rest of your night, guys. Peace.